We've got an excellent game lined up for you here in Week 14 as Puka Nacua, Matt Stafford, and the Los Angeles Rams fly over to Baltimore to take on the one of the AFC leading teams in the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson's been having an MVP like season. Zay Flowers has been arguably one of the best rookie receivers I think drafted in the first round of that first trio. Probably arguably the only better receiver might actually be Puka Nacua from this past class. So that'll be fun to kind of break down at the end of the season. But this, by all intents and purposes, is going to be a phenomenal game. Ryan, I want to throw it over to you here first. What's been the most impressive part for you for the Rams, who I would say are the clear underdogs in this game, but they have a lot of fight in them. I mean, they're
Yeah.
one of the surprises of the 2023 season so far.
The most impressive thing for me was how Sean McVay has covered up for this offensive line all year, and this offense has still been one of the most
Yeah.
productive. This offensive line, I mean, it was one of the worst in the league last year. It was part of the reason why they were so bad. Actually, it was a large part of the reason why they were so bad. And with, I would say, minimal additions, I don't really think they made any free agency additions. And they drafted Steve Avila in the second round. And
That was their first pick of that draft.
yeah, and outside of that, I think they maybe added some like late round guards and tackles. And what they've been able to do in scheme up ways to get wide receivers open, get them lighter boxes, and then also to actually have a really effective running game. I'm sure one of the things we will talk about in this episode is how effective the Rams have been at running the ball, specifically when Kyron Williams is healthy. And that to me, I think, has just been so impressive. And on the flip side of that, the Ravens, I did not know what to expect with the Ravens this year. Todd Monken came in and it was like, I want Lamar Jackson to be dropping back and throwing the ball more than he has been in the past. And this Ravens defense has stepped up and been really, really solid. So this is a battle of two really good teams. I think they approach the game very differently. And I'm excited for this one. This is going to be a fantastic matchup.
Yeah. Let's start with the Ravens here first. I think kind of break it down because I think to me it's very simple to address on how good this offense has been. It's just how consistently balanced I feel they are.
Yeah.
You know, so if you just go back these past couple of games here. So last week, or not last week, the last time we saw them because they're on a bye this past week, week 12, when they played the Chargers, 164 passing yards, 197 rushing yards. Week before that, 248, 157. This is probably one of the more imbalanced games when it comes to yardage disparities. But in week 10, when they lost the Browns, 200 passing yards, 6 rushing yards. And I bring that up, though, too, because if you just go up that list, a lot of the time they don't have too many more passing yards than they do rushing yards. And that makes sense, too. The Ravens, number one rushing team overall.
Yeah.
But I bring that up, though, is they have just such a good balanced offensive system here. One thing we talked about how efficient Lamar Jackson has been, 68.3 completion percentage. Only 334 passing attempts so far on the season. So through 12 games, about 30 pass attempts on average,
which is more than his career average, but he's also being a lot more efficient than his career average as well.
Let me pull up here too, because I'm curious actually where that ranks overall. If you look at the overall passing attempts, because 334, he is 22nd on the overall passing attempts so far on the season, and that's where I think, with how efficient they're being, and you're right, and this is the most that he's thrown so far up to this point in the season, all the seasons, is maximizing the efficiency here. And this is where we'll kind of where I want to transition into Zay Flowers and how Puka Nacua have both been major reasons why this offense has been so explosive. Is they both have so much speed that it's hard for defense to cover. And Ravens' offensive line is significantly better than the Rams, but kind of getting your point about Sean McVay helping with the offensive line offense. When you have these speedster guys that you can just kind of move all around, put them in slot, outside, they're so quick, they can burn any corner, they can create their own separation. It just frees up the offensive line, frees up the quarterback just to be able to rely on these guys. And that's what both of these offensive systems have been getting from these rookie receivers. It's going to be fun to watch this overall matchup here. I know Puka Nacua, I think I just saw he had an AC sprain, so it hurt his shoulder a little bit. So we'll have to see how he does overall kind of throughout the week. That's an injury to monitor as well. But super impressed with both these receivers, super impressed with both of these quarterbacks in these offensive systems. I think they both exceeded our expectations coming into the season. The Ravens, we thought could be a playoff team. They were kind of on that fringe, didn't really know how everything would kind of transpire with the AFC North overall, just fighting for the division. But I think they have a clear hold on that division right now, especially with all the quarterback injuries that's going on with the AFC North. But also to the Ravens, I think, are just playing better than everybody else there. Rams, though,
Yeah.
thanks to Puka Nacua and, as you mentioned, Sean McVay. And this will be my last thing. I know I've been talking for a second. But
no, you're good.
Very impressed with how they've been able to efficiently utilize Puka Nacua and what he has brought to the table here. 1,000-yard receiver this season in his rookie year with a lot of games still left to go.
5 specifically. So, but that to me is Puka Nacua. He's bursted onto the scene. One, I think a little bit out of necessity outside of Cooper Kupp, and even without Cooper Kupp through, I think, the first 5 games this year. He was their most effective receiver. And now, I mean, he has inside-outside versatility. He runs great routes. He has really solid hands. And he breaks tackles and runs well after the catch.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say Zay Flowers is much more explosive than him. But still, both really solid receivers nonetheless.
Yeah,
so
I feel like they both have that just elusiveness, that ease ability to just create their own separation, which is what separates them from a lot of the other receivers.
It's weird because I don't think Puka Nacua ran that fast. Zay Flowers, I think, ran like a 4.4 flat at the combine,
which I've heard is kind of fast.
That's yeah.
I think
nowadays I feel like most people are running 4.3s. I think at Zay Flowers'
like
size, but
we run a 4.5. So
yeah. Maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah, a 10-yard 4.5.
Yeah, but no. So, but what they both have to their game is this smoothness, right? Like it just looks fluid on the field. And I know like there have been guys like John Ross, Tyquan Thornton ran a 4.2. I'm trying to think of another one, but like just because they run that speed doesn't mean that they have that smoothness and fluidness on the field. And both of these guys have that. So let's.
Well, I was going to say too. You mentioned Kyron Williams here. I want to hear your thoughts on what Kyron Williams, him being back on off IR with the Rams offense, what that has helped done, and what he might be able to bring to.
So it balances this offense, and he's a threat in the run game. Defenses have to respect it, and then that gives more favorable matchups on the outside for Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. I believe this Rams offense without him is in the bottom half of the league. And then when he's been on the field, they have been top 10 in scoring every week. So it makes a huge difference when he's out there, and his ability to just consistently make positive gains in the running game is huge for this offense because it just keeps them balanced.
Yeah, no, through 7 games, 687 rushing. 7 games started. He's played 8, but he got hurt in the one and didn't play too much. 7 touchdowns. Also receiving 2 as well, and he's a good back out of the backfield. 22 catches, 190 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So glad to see he's back. I think he's been a huge addition to this offense. It's going to be a phenomenal game between these two teams. Ravens are borderline, I would say, a lot for the playoffs. Anything can happen here, so I don't want to jinx it. Rams, though, still well within the hunt. Have gotten themselves back into it with the Packers winning. They are now one position out, but tied with the Packers and the Vikings at 6-6. So let's get to our predictions here for the game. But before we do that, if you have not already, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell to get notified whenever we create new videos. Ryan and I, we have a goal, our final goal for the year of getting to 2,333 subscribers. You might be wondering, Tyler, why such a weird number? If we hit that number, this channel would have grown 2,000 subscribers in the calendar year from January 1st all the way then to December 31st. So we can't believe that we've already grown this much, all thanks to you guys in our community. So if you can help us reach our goal, it would just be absolutely phenomenal. So like, subscribe, and Ryan, I want to throw it over to you here. Who do you think is going to be winning this game and why?
I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to come out ahead in this one. We kind of saw what it looked like when the 49ers and the Rams went head-to-head. And I think the Ravens, while go about it in a different way, are similarly constructed to the 49ers, just with how balanced they are, how solid this defense is, and then kind of their explosiveness and playmaking on the offensive side of the ball. They do a really good job of just spreading out defenses and just setting them up and hitting defenses where their weaknesses are. And then on the other side, Kyle Hamilton, he's having a great season. Patrick Queen, Roquan Smith are two really solid linebackers. So I really like this Ravens team. I think that they are going to have a great rest of the year. And I just think this is a really tough road win for the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah. No, I'm also going to go with the Ravens here as well. I will say the one thing with the Ravens, just if you go look at their losses this year, they have beat themselves just through turnovers or just offense stalling out. And I think if that happens, if they don't play a full 60 minutes here, both offensively and defensively, the Rams, I think, could put up some points here. But if you just look at it right now, Ravens have – I'll be conservative and I'll say probably a top 3 defense in the NFL, if not number 1. So I think when it comes to overall rushing, 11th overall in rushing yards allowed on the season, only 4 rushing touchdowns actually. Passing wise, they are number 2 defense, allowing just over 2,000 passing yards so far. Rams have a respectable defense. They're average both statistically, but I think if you go and just look at what the Ravens have done defensively, they have stymied a lot of teams here. We'll have to monitor Puka Nakua's status. I feel confident that he'll play, especially then too. It's December football; he'll be able to fight through an AC joint sprain. But I think they're going to be able to really stymie Kyron Williams. I think he'll get his fair share, but not as much as they would typically expect. And at the same time, too, we talked about that with Lamar Jackson's Zay Flowers and his connection. They're having a great connection here. It's going to be a fun connection to watch over these next couple of years and as they both grow into even more superstars than what Lamar Jackson already is. But then you throw in OBJ, then you throw in Nelson Aguilar, actually hasn't been completely horrible as well. Then there's another receiver also on that team.
Rashad Bateman?
Yeah, that one. Thank you. Just an overall, just a good kind of core for receivers. And Isaiah Likely, I really like his fit. I think he's a good replacement for Mark Andrews since he's out for the season. So going to go with the Ravens here. But and so, it's going to be a phenomenal game.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and wrap it up. We're both taking the Ravens here. Please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Other than that, we will see you guys next time.